Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. Bitcoin is currently trading at $117,688. In this video we are going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. So we have seen for Bitcoin, quick update, this H pattern is still ongoing. And now let me just delete this square which I have drew last week. From the chart, what we got now is some kind of an bearish pennant, like this. We are also currently in the retest of that H pattern. So we got here our H pattern, which broke to the downside, which got its retest. So I would look for an important price mark, $117,385. If that breaks to the downside, then I would say, okay, $116,750. So going to get very interesting. It is not much, I know. And if we just want to trade it down here, it's not worth it. But once that breaks, and I think it is going to break, if we break the $117,385 to the downside, then the target, in my opinion, is going to be the $115,350. If we also lose the $115,350, then I think the area $110,300 is going to get very interesting. I will put you here the price mark. So this can still turn out, I don't want to say bullish, but we are close to break it to the upside, $117,800. So we are just $100 away. I would even wait for the tops right here, $117,900. This is, in my opinion, more important. If we break here to the upside, then I would say we have a good chance getting into this huge fair value gap. It goes from $120,650 to $119,350. I will also put you here two price marks. And yes, we can go there without being bullish for Bitcoin. I still think that the great pushes for Bitcoin are done. I don't think that Bitcoin is going to do the most gains anymore. The focus should be on the altcoins, in my opinion. I still think that Bitcoin has the good chance getting a new all-time high, even up to $130,500 at the moment. But I would still say, yes, we can fill that fair value gap and sell off from here before we get a push. Or we sell off, maybe even just into $150,360. Okay, but if we break it to the downside, then we should sell off. And from here, get a new all-time high. But this is not going to be a move where I would say it is worth it. Even though it might be 18%. The altcoins should do 50 to 100% if we catch the low right here. So basically, if this is going to happen, it would be very good because we would see a very huge pullback. If not, if we just get to $115,360, then the altcoins are also going to sell off like 10%, in my opinion. And from there we can start, in my opinion. If we then look over Ethereum, then we can still say that we had some kind of an H pattern right here, and we got a second one right here. I have also said that we can see a bounce. There we were in yesterday's videos in that area right here. I have said, okay, we can still get a bounce into that fair value gap. And from here we have to see if we are going to sell off or if we are going to form a higher low and then push. So let's break it down to the 50 minutes chart because I have some new chart patterns. But I want to delete this here so we can see it a bit better. What I see are two bearish chart patterns. Head and shoulders formatation, and in white, a rising wedge. So I would say we would invalidate both bearish chart patterns once we break the 4,450 US dollar to the upside. Then we have to see, is it just going to be another push and then sell off? Because then it would be a double top pattern. Or if we are a bit more bullish for Ethereum and get something like this, then this was our low and we can get higher prices for Ethereum, in my opinion. But for now, I also think that Ethereum is going to sell off. I'm not in an Ethereum short position. My short position are ongoing for Solana, Sui, HBAR, Kaspa, and ONDO. They are all in losses, for sure. I would just wait it out. And if I get the signals of a bullish reverse, then I would even take the loss. It would be also very positive for the whole community to get higher prices. I know that. But yes, I hope that I'm actually wrong with my bearish scenarios, but I have to tell you that. Yeah, I'm not talking about a new all-time high for Bitcoin or for Ethereum if I don't see it in the chart. That would be just clickbait, and I think that's not going to be good. Anyway, the more interesting price mark is not going to be the 4,410 US dollar, because this would be the breakout of the small falling wedge. This is not going to be interesting, because if we break it to the downside, I think we are going to drop to 4,375 US dollar. What is going to happen there is far more interesting. If we break the 4,375 US dollar to the downside, then I took the target of the length of one shoulder. We can also extend it a bit to the size of the head. We put it then to the breakout point, and the target is going to be 4,250 US dollar. But we also have another target of an H pattern. So basically, I would even say we have the good chance selling it to the fair value gap down below here, 4,118 US dollar. And since there is a fair value gap which is a bit bigger, like we also have fair value gaps at 3,800 US dollar, but I think this is far too low. I can also say that we can go for the fair value gaps. First one is here. The second one is at 4,600 US dollar. And from here sell off into the fair value gap. This can also be possible. So basically I would look for the two price marks. 4,450 US dollar, 4,375 US dollar. Depending on what we are going to break to the upside, we can predict the price movement a bit. So basically the target is going to be both of the fair value gaps, and to the downside, yeah, we also have two bigger fair value gaps down below. I think more interesting is XRP, because we have said for XRP that we didn't break the H pattern to the downside, and we didn't. This here is the H pattern. This H pattern, I would just delete it. I would just took it from the chart, because we have here a bear flag with 2 touch points down below and 1, 2, 3 touch points on the upper part. What is going to happen is this can be formed as a bigger H pattern, and the target of the bear flag is the same as the H pattern. So I don't have to have many chart patterns on the chart. Yeah, we have the H pattern, which is showing us the $2.66, inclusively the bear flag. So $2.67 even. So we can sell off there, but for that we have to get a break to the downside. And the break to the downside is going to be here at $3.01. If we break it to the downside, then I can say we should sell off with a very high chance into the $2.67 in my opinion. On the other hand, we also have a more bullish scenario where I would say $3.14. If they break to the upside sustainable and I want to see the 1 hour candle close, this here aren't candle closes, those are just wicks. So I want to see a candle closes over $3.14, then close a bit of the fair value gap, get a retest, and then I think XRP can go up to $3.27 to $3.30. And also here we have to see maybe, okay, maybe we invalidate this bear flag, but maybe we are going to get something else. Maybe this is just going to be a rising wedge, which then breaks to the downside on the bigger time frame and still sees the $2.67. So I would be a bit careful a bit, but for sure, a small momentum trade could be possible at $3.14 if we break it to the upside, and $3.01 if we break it to the downside, then it's short to me. If we now look over Solana, then we can say H pattern, broke to the downside, got its retest. So what I was thinking, actually, that's why I already went into a Solana short trade, was that this right here was the breakout and this here is the retest. So basically that's why I went into a Solana short position a bit earlier. But I have also said 189 US dollar and 60 cents. There we had a fair value gap from this candle. I've said we can get there and from here sell off. So far we went into that area, but we haven't sold off. So if I delete this one, we can see a bit more. We have two scenarios for Solana here as well. It's a make it or break it. Falling wedge, which already broke to the upside, positive, but we have also formed a bearish pennant. So we are pretty close to a break to the upside, and I would keep the price mark of 189, let's round it up, 190 US dollar. If it breaks to the upside, then I have to adjust the target here. I don't even think that we are going to get into the maximum target. I would look for the fair value gap. And this is going to be the area between 198 US dollar to $201. This is going to get very interesting, but for that we have to break the 190 US dollar to the upside. If we get rejected there and sell off, and we break the $186.65 to the downside, then I think we have two targets, and if we just take the golden middle of them, it's 169 US dollar and 35 cents, with the chance that we have a fair value gap lower than us, and we can sell off even into 165 US dollar for Solana. So as you can see, a small recap. As you can see, we are close to breakouts to the upside or to the downside. So what I think is, tomorrow on Sunday, it's going to get decided, maybe even today for Solana. Yeah, we are pretty close to it. If we don't get rejected, it will get, in 1 hour we have Sunday from my time zone. So basically, on Sunday it should get decided in which direction we are going to break. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on how much volume we get, we should get into the areas. So if we break to the upside tomorrow on a Sunday, and it's just going to be a boring Sunday, usually Sundays are boring, but so far we have seen Sundays which are crazy lately. So basically, if we get a breakout and it's going to be a boring Sunday, then we are just going to get a consolidation and go a bit sideways. The market is going to go a bit slowlier, and then on Monday we should see the area afterwards. And the same is going to happen to the downside, where we get a bit sideways, and on Monday we should see the area. I don't want to say that on Monday we are going to push 10% or sell off 10%, but it can take a few days after. So basically, we should see a decision tomorrow where the market is heading to on Monday. So with that said, we see each other in the Sui, Avalanche, HBAR and Dogecoin update.